Welcome to the X Block.
Am I right, Marine? Sir, yes, sir! Then listen up.
You're listening to the X Block. I'm Jared, he's Caleb. Let's get into it.
You are listening to the X Block Podcast, episode 25. I'm Jaron, and I'm here with Caleb.
Hey,
and this is the world's #1 Xbox podcast.
Probably.
Definitely.
Probably.
There you go.
Jaron, how was Shang-Chi? How was it?
I thought it was great.
You thought it was great? Yeah, I didn't think it was great. I thought it was all right, I thought the fight scenes were great. I thought the movie was all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of the rare Marvel movies that all of the fight scenes hit because they're like so cinematically beautifully done.
Yeah, like when that shot outside the train that like pans left as he fights his way through the train.
Yep.
Or I guess it was
We don't want to
bus.
spoil too much though, because it did just come out.
Yeah, but that's like, there was a fight scene in Shang-Chi. I fucked that up. God damn it. There's a fight scene in Shang-Chi. We'll keep that in. That was a good one. Yeah.
Well, I guess we should talk about what we've been playing though, Caleb, and not what we've been watching.
Yo, but like, when's the Shang-Chi video game coming out? I'm hyped for that.
Never.
All right. Well, I guess in the interim, I've been playing a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist. I just duel around every now and then. You know me, Jaron. And then I played some Outriders with you. We didn't get lost on the map, so that was cool. And I listened to a bit of Drake while we did. Interesting fucking ride. Speaking of, Drake's new album dropped, so there you go. Other than that, basically same old Splitgate and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege with Juwan and Austin. It's Juwan's birthday, I think, rough by the time this comes out, the 6th. So,
Ooh.
Happy birthday, my little boy. I think he want give him a shout out, Jaron. He'd want a shout out.
Hey, Juwan. Happy birthday.
That's weak as fuck. I hate you. All right, Elder Scrolls Online, Tamriel Unlimited is what it says here in my fucking dock on my phone. So yeah, I played that too. I'm almost through the first area, Jaron, out of like 5 that I need to complete for the Daggerfall Covenant. And I think this is the first area is like the second longest one. So it's not looking good. I may be playing this for the rest of my life. Who knows?
You will be.
Yeah, I probably will be. Which I guess it's kind of good. We don't talk about this in the Outside the Box news this week, but apparently I think CD Projekt Red said some things that intimated that they could potentially delay the Witcher 3 upgrades out of December this year, as well as like the Cyberpunk next gen upgrades, or both, or neither. So if they do, then it was still a good call for me to play this.
All right, Caleb.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing out of the quick quips.
Yeah, what? Oh, did you mention? Is that in the quick quips? So this is why you and I need to communicate more. Our relationship is toxic, you know? Like, I see the rest of the doc, and then in the FAF, do I know what's coming? No. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. But I think our game that we have going of if I can just mention in passing something that's in the FAF, I think I won this week, so get fucked.
Yeah, you did.
Idiot.
It was your earliest one yet.
Yeah, dude, I'm nailed it. I'm fucking going for a record, man. Yeah, what about you, dog? What have you been playing? Hopefully not the Elder Scrolls Online.
No. I've been rocking Gears of War Tactics.
Oh, yeah. Hey, what do you think?
Best Gears of War game.
Woo! Hot takes from Jeremy. You know we have an Xbox audience, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're a bunch of fucking idiots. So you're right, though.
No, we love the Xbox audience, but, sometimes you just got to sit down. You got to accept things.
I accept things.
Best Gears of War game, Gears of War Tactics. Not as many people will play it, but in my opinion, my favorite so far.
You and I have talked about this, and the Gears games are iconic. Like, no one's denying. Gears 1, great trailer, pretty great game, even especially the remaster. But I just gotta tell you, man, the overall, this is a hot take, dude. We're about to lose fucking listeners right here. But, Gears 2, Gears 3, the general story, even just the gameplay, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Like, it's fine. And the story's, like, maybe fine. And then Gears Judgment is just a dumpster fire. And then Gears 4 is just almost nothing, even though the gameplay feels a little bit better. And then Gears 5 is hot. I love Gears 5. And I have no horse in this race. I'm not really a Gears fan. I just kind of like them and play them. And, Gears 5 and Gears Tactics are the best Gears games. So fucking don't at me. At XBlock Podcast, don't at me.
Well, I guess the only thing I'm going to say about it is I'm in the camp of people who didn't play it until like they released them all in the Xbox One.
Okay.
So maybe they were better in their time.
Do you mean Series X, or is this just a habit you said Xbox One? Are they on the Xbox One?
Actual Xbox One.
Did you play it on the Xbox One?
When they released the Ultimate Edition of Gears of War 1, I'm talking about, and 2 and 3 and 4, I didn't play them until then. So maybe it was better in its time, is what I'm saying.
I got you. Now. I'm following. I thought I'm a stupid idiot.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
you meant Gears Tactics. I was like, what are you talking about? But yeah, okay, I'm following now. Yeah, maybe they were better in their time. I played them like, I don't know, at 2011, maybe 2012. I started playing them, which is after their time. But still, I was like, I played them like,
Yeah, but I get it. It's just not my thing.
Yeah, no, I get it too. But even then, the story's like, it suffers a little bit, and the characters, I don't know.
Yeah, but Gears of War Tactics, having a blast. Great game.
Is Carmine in there?
No one's in there.
No one? Okay, it's just completely new people. And then I saw you made your own B team of just random ass characters.
There's one dude who's like the president. I don't remember his name. They've said his name a bunch in the story. He's some guy from the other Gears of War games, but I don't remember his name.
Yo, Jaren, can I be honest with you? Who cares? Who cares, Jaren? Am I right? High five. Fucking got him, idiot.
There you go. You got him. Yeah, but that's pretty much all I've been playing. I've just been playing Gears Tactics. I sit here, I play it every once in a while, and it's a great time.
Yeah,
and that's about it.
You're just a busy little boy. No time for games, no time for me. I'm a busy
I played
little
Outriders
boy.
with you twice.
Hey, shut up. I actually got a job, dude, as a weekend editor for a website called Pro Game Guides on the side. So I'll be doing that as a little part-time job. That's pretty cool, making our X-Block, making our waves everywhere, building our empire.
Yeah, dude, you are building the empire. I just got contracted to edit some podcasts that'll be coming out.
Whoa, so fucking the podcast universe is expanding. Like they're not our podcast, but Jaren's just developing his skills, getting people out there. So, only good for this show.
If they want a shout out here, it's going to require extra marketing dollars, so not going to happen.
Fucking nope. Not on this show. Not while I'm here.
All right. I guess we should move into Outside the Box.
Thinking outside the box,
where we cover all the news you need to know outside the Xbox community. Our first story in Outside the Box: Grandma and Big G ain't getting you a console for Christmas this year or the next, Caleb.
You literally wrote that in the doc. Grandma and Big G. It took me like 4 minutes to figure out Big G was Grandpa. I was like, who the fuck's Big G?
Toshiba warns power chip supply to stay tight for another year. This is according to Bloomberg.
Yep.
And essentially, we can break down this story to be very simple.
Uh-huh.
There's not enough chips to make consoles, and so there won't be very many Xboxes out there. There won't be very many PS5s out there, and there definitely won't be many OLED Switches out there. So if you were hoping to get one without snagging a pre-order or hitting up on a shadow drop, not going to happen.
Yeah, this is unfortunate. I didn't even know about this news until you put it in the doc and I saw it today. I guess this Bloomberg article was written on September 2nd, but yeah, Toshiba kind of announced, they said, it says in the article here by Takashi Mochizuki and Yuki Furukawa. Dude, I nailed that.
I thought you were pretty good.
Yeah, dude. It says, quote, Toshiba Corp said it won't be able to meet demand for power regulating chips for another year and, in certain cases, through the end of 2022, offering a fresh warning for makers of cars, consumer electronics, and industrial machines. And then, end quote. They mention video game consoles in there, like Nintendo and Sony. So, yeah, essentially, we already knew there was a chip shortage, microprocessors and the fucking power chips. I don't fucking know. And that's limiting the console supply because there's too much demand and everything else. And so, yeah, like Jaren said, it's going to be a hard time just walking into Walmart at 11 fucking p.m. and grabbing you a Series X on the shelf. It's just, good luck. I wish you well, but it's not going to happen. So, and something I wanted to ask you about this, Jaren. Do you think this, generation is going to be, I don't know, looked back at of like, what?
Grandma can't buy you a goddamn Xbox. Nothing under the tree is your next stop unless you hop on Twitter and grab you an Xbox. Well, that's the end of my time. No TikTok. Follow us on Twitch. #XBlock.
Yo, what?
Now back to the show.
Yo, what could have happened if there was actually supply for these electronics? Like, not a pandemic, and enough material to go around to where the actual demand for these consoles was met with supply by the manufacturers.
Well, I think Xbox has placed themselves in a good spot where they're at least trying to get xCloud off the ground, and maybe you'll be able to stream the next gen versions of games if you can't get them. And it still very much feels like if you're following the tweets and like following people who tell you when these consoles drop, that you can very much get a console. You just have to really be like paying attention and be ready to pay when it's there.
Yeah, I guess the main people who can are more casuals, like or people who have a difficult time at a full-time, job. They get off at 5. And
yeah, everyone playing Madden.
yeah, those people, and I guess, but yeah, generally speaking, I guess if you try hard enough, Jared and I have mentioned, you probably can get a console, but yeah, your grandma won't be able to walk into Target and snag you one for Christmas. I guess maybe even by the end of 2022, which is that's a decent amount of time, Jared. And then they said, quote, in some cases, we may find some customers not being fully served until 2023. So yeah, man, this console generation is just going to be supply constrained, at least for the first half, which is really, really interesting. I really wonder what the numbers would have been for like PS5 and Xbox if they actually met the demand.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like, I know this is related to the pandemic because they like got behind by having to close down and stuff. But I think with the onset of like far more advanced electrical cars and that continuing in the future, that unless these companies like expand their production, that it could be like a long while before we don't have at least like constrained supply, where it might not be as like ridiculous as it is now, but with everything needing tech chips going forward, we're going to need these companies to either grow and pump out more chips, or it's possible it's just going to be in some variation of this, probably not to the extreme, but like close to this, like for a while.
Yeah, and I think Toshiba, or they talk about Toshiba in the article, is looking to build another factory during this whole thing to try to, help meet demand. So
yeah, and who knew that Toshiba was such a important thing in the entire electronics industry? I thought they had like faded out, but it turns out they actually do everything behind the scenes to make shit run.
Yeah, I thought that too. And there's a few other companies. I thought there was one that starts with like an H or something that makes semiconductors or some nonsense for the console manufacturers. There's a couple going on, but yeah, these people apparently make power chips. I don't know. I'm not a tech guy really, but I can understand that like, consoles need parts and parts aren't being made enough, and you're like, all right, cool, even my dumb ass can figure that out. Got it.
Yeah, that's fair. And I wonder if like we're also running into a scenario where scalpers are kind of holding on to consoles and they keep buying more because they can't sell their inventory if there are consoles out there. So they just keep buying more and more and more and more of them. I feel like at some point we're going to hit like a mass exodus on eBay where all the consoles are basically just the price that if you would bought them from the stores, because all these people are going to want to try to break even and they can't just sit on $50,000 worth of hardware.
No, you can't sit on it because as the demand is met, the price drops on the black market. So people who buy these don't just hoard them like to sell them for profit. They sell them as fast as they can, because they're not going to get any more expensive. Except maybe you'll see a bump around like Black Friday or something, like around Christmas time.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that at least the eBay market like slightly comes down soon so people can just buy it there, maybe spend $50 more.
Yeah, and it's not like it was in the beginning. It seems like demand is being met, like starting to be met, rather.
Yeah, starting. We're getting there. It's possible to get them now. It's not like impossible to, if you're even prepared to snag one. Now it's like you can snag them.
Let's go fucking check out Wario64 or some nonsense on Twitter. Let them hit you up at the time.
Yeah. And that's pretty much all there is to say about that story. The next one is basically, there's just too many events, Caleb.
Ooh, this is you see the next story? It's like the next 9 stories for the next fucking month. It's just too many events, Jaren. What are the events happening? What's going on?
All right, well, we'll just do them in order. So, September 9th, get your butts ready. PlayStation's PS5 showcase is coming, and they're going to show you a 40-minute look at the future, in quotes, because that's what they said, of PS5. The future of PS5 is usually a bunch of games that aren't coming out for 3 years, but they need them to sell consoles, so everyone buys them.
Hey, don't talk that way. The God of War was coming out in a year before they delayed it, because they knew that it wouldn't come out that year, but they needed to sell PS5s. How dare you, asshole? That's 2 years. Get the fuck out of here. But yeah, they said that they won't. I was speculating that they would show like maybe some PSVR stuff, PSVR 2. But they said, I think in a PS blog afterward, that they are not going to be showing anything for VR. So it looks like they're going to be showing like Horizon, obviously, coming out, and God of War and Gran Turismo, I think, are coming out next year. And that's really all we know, even from the first party at this point, I think. So I guess you can expect some like new IP probably announced, or maybe there was a thing where you'll recall that they leaked that I think they acquired Bluepoint already. So They'll probably show that or like announce that, yeah, we got Bluepoint. And everybody will be like, we know. Great. Also, they made exclusive shit for you anyway. So that makes sense. So that'll be the PlayStation showcase. 40 minutes. Look forward to it. If you want, I don't. Hopefully it's good. That would be nice if they actually met my expectations for once. And yeah, that's about all I have to say about it.
Yeah, the last thing I'm going to say about it is people in the industry have said there will be big announcements, because if they actually only show Horizon, God of War, Gran Turismo, and like one other announcement, people are going to be not happy.
Well, 10 minutes for each one, but that may be too long. So I expect there will be more things. And they had, 25 fucking IP in the works, or whatever the hell they said a month, or I guess it was like more like 4 months ago. But yeah, they'll announce some stuff and we'll know by the next episode.
And next up, a new Nintendo Direct is expected this month. And why is it expected this month, Caleb? Fill the listener in.
Okay, so apparently what's going on here, and this story comes from VGC. I don't know if they were the first to report on it, but they say that this young person, leaker, Zippo, has said that basically Nintendo Directs have happened in the first 2 weeks of September for the last 5 years. So we should expect one based on the historical precedent this year. That's what they say, and I think that they also have like data to back that or something. I don't know too much about it. We're not, huge Nintendo podcast over here on the X Block. But yeah, so they say, quote, "This will reportedly focus on their remaining lineup for this year and will give us peeks at early 2022 games," end quote. So
Zelda.
Zelda and whatever the fuck else they got going on over here. And they said even during 2022, when the company famously did not hold a single full Direct broadcast due to disruption caused by the pandemic, it still published a bumper Super Mario 35th anniversary stream on September 3rd. So yeah, they've had this for a while, like this precedent. And so maybe they'll stop the precedent, but we don't really think so. And then people are expecting the studio, I think it was Monolith. Well, I'll read from the article. They say, on Tuesday, Nintendo Studio Monolith announced that it will be taking its website offline for maintenance on Tuesday, September 8th, leading to speculation that it could be related to an announcement. That seems pretty likely, honestly. I would think so. And so people are expecting that studio works on Xenoblade and Xenoblade Chronicles, like that whole franchise. So people are expecting something like Xenoblade related. And yeah, maybe some Zelda nonsense. Maybe more Metroid Dread, I think it's called. I don't know. I'm not a Nintendo guy, but if you're expecting Nintendo shit, go to that possible maybe Direct by the time you hear this.
Nah, dude, all of that information, you're now Caleb the Nintendo guy.
God, forever? Am I Caleb the Nintendo guy in this podcast? Is that how you're going to introduce me when there's Nintendo news?
The next one, another Japanese company, except this time at the Tokyo Game Show. Square Enix has confirmed a 50-minute Tokyo Game Show event where it could potentially share a new update on Final Fantasy XVI, according to recent comments by the game's producer.
Yeah, from VGC, they say Final Fantasy XVI's producer previously said the company, quote, definitely, quote, wanted to show the game. That was a lot. I kind of butchered that a bit. But anyway, yeah, when is Tokyo Game Show, Jaron?
It is on September 30th, I believe.
Okay, and then this says that Square Enix presents Tokyo Game Show 2021 will be streamed at 7 p.m. JST.
On October 1st.
Yeah, on October 1st. I don't know what the fuck JST. Oh, 6 a.m. Eastern Time. There you go. Nailed it.
So 5 a.m. for you.
Is that, yeah, so there's Central Time. A lot going on here. But yeah, if you're into Japanese weeb games and Square Enix, fucking go check out that.
Yeah, there you go. So Square Enix coming around. You probably won't hear any more about Guardians of the Galaxy there, but you'll probably hear about their Japanese franchises.
Yeah, and you're probably thinking right now, Jesus, Caleb, Jesus, Jan, that's a lot of fucking shows. There's no more, right? And you would be wrong.
THQ Nordic to reveal 6 games this month, including the return of legendary franchises. Everyone's basically like, oh, so Time Splitters that you didn't show at E3.
See, I don't know this for sure, because I looked it up on, like, I went to the Wikipedia page, and apparently, so Embracer Group owns THQ Nordic and Deep Silver. And
Yep.
I don't think Deep Silver is owned by THQ Nordic, but Deep Silver is the one responsible for the Time Splitters IP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna do a quick look up here in the podcast. Hold on a minute, boys. We coming in. All right, so it says here on the Wikipedia, in May 2021, Deep Silver and Koch Media, part of Embracer Group since 2018, announced that Free Radical Design had been refounded. Work on a new part of the Time Splitter series is to begin before the end of 2021. So that's under the Deep Silver Wikipedia. I'm pretty sure they work on that shit. So I don't actually know if Time Splitters is going to be shown for a THQ Nordic thing. Maybe I'm just wrong about this, but the whole Embracer, THQ Nordic, Deep Silver, fucking Koch Media structure is like crazy. I don't actually understand it fully. But yeah, people seem to be saying maybe Time Splitters. I guess you'll know once this showcase happens on September 17th at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern, and 9 p.m. CET. I don't even know what the fuck that is. But yeah, they're going to be showing some shit. I have no idea. Probably smaller games that THQ Nordic owns the IP to. Besides, perhaps Destroy All Humans 2.
That's what I was expecting. a remake of Destroy All Humans 2.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking would be there as well. In this Pure Xbox article by Daniel Hollis, the announcement ends with words, quote, "We hope you are ready, kids," end quote, which gives us hope a new SpongeBob SquarePants game may be returning. Probably just wishful thinking, ... Yeah, I also hope that there's a new SpongeBob SquarePants game just because, I like those. I know they're working on that, brawler, that Nickelodeon brawler, but I would also want a new SpongeBob game just for funsies. So there you go. And also Jeff Keighley's hosting that. So Jesus, he's just hosting everything now. Fucking Jeff Keighley forever. Jeff Keighley for life.
I like how he literally helped them host that debacle at E3 and he still was down to host this. Does the guy just like pain?
I don't know. You just insulted debacles though.
And the last of the events.
There's another.
WB Games Montreal's Gotham Knights and Rocksteady's Suicide Squad will be shown off at DC Fandom, which is set to take place Saturday, October 16th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah, so there you go. We got another event for October. So yeah, with the Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad. I guess those people actually, or those studios actually have something to say about those now.
I guess, yeah.
I don't know if I care about Suicide Squad yet. Gotham Knights, it's weird. Some people are kind of down on it in the industry, especially I think the multiplayer aspect, and I don't know, maybe they wanted something different from it. I was kind of not looking forward to it at first as well, but now that I've had time to marinate, and I saw that gameplay, I'm kind of excited for a co-op, like the Gotham Knights thing with Nightwing and all those other homies out there. I was like, you know what? I've played enough fucking Batman. Because you go back, Jaren, like me, like an idiot, and you go play, the Return to Arkham Asylum and Return to Arkham City, and you play fucking Arkham Origins again, and you play Arkham Knight again, and you're just like, I've had enough Batman. Let's just move on. So Gotham Knights, kind of excited.
Yeah, seems like it could be a good time.
Which one are you more excited for, Jaren? Gotham Knights or Suicide Squad?
I feel like we don't know anything about Suicide Squad,
but
so
based on
Gotham Knights.
Okay, just Gotham Knights because you haven't seen anything. But even if, imagine it was a good Suicide Squad game, are you still not really don't care about a Suicide Squad game, or you just don't know yet?
I really need to see it. If it's rated teen, then Gotham Knights. If Suicide Squad's rated M and there's actually going to be some crazy shit in it, maybe Suicide Squad.
That's a good call, actually. The rating idea or aspect of it, that's a pretty good call.
Yep. And now we will move into the X Block.
I do
and
that.
Of course.
No, shut up. I do that every week, and it makes me not want to talk to you till the next week. And even then, I have to pray about it or something. I don't know.
And of course, Caleb, the first news is another event. Tokyo Game Show 2021 schedule includes an Xbox showcase with, quotes, exclusive news.
You think I'd be excited, Jaren, and I kind of am because it's an Xbox showcase, but you get out of the outside, you swim and fight your way through outside the box, and you're like, I'm finally out of all the events. And then you're like, oh, nope, back to Tokyo Game Show. Xbox is showing some stuff, and you're like, God, why?
Yeah, I'm going to keep the same energy. Too many events.
Even though
I don't care
Xbox,
if it's Xbox.
And we're excited
I don't care.
from it. Yeah, so what's going on here? What's this Xbox showcase? What's up?
They really haven't said anything. They've just said there will be some exclusive news during its exhibit, and it will be 50 minutes long and take place on September 30th.
Okay, that was my next question. Because I read in the IGN article that it says the full Tokyo Game Show 2021 schedule has been revealed, and among other panels, Xbox is going to be there. And then they also mentioned that Konami, Capcom, Square Enix, Bandai Namco, Ubisoft, and the Genshin Impact fucking studio is going to be there. I guess that's a pretty big game, but yeah, so everyone is basically going to be at Tokyo Game Show, and I think it's weird because these companies, they kind of bailed on, I think it was PAX West this year. It's happening September 3rd through 6th, so by the time you hear this, it's either the last day or it's over. But yeah, I think no one attended that. I think Bandai Namco is there, and no one else. So they all went to Tokyo.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I guess they're just Tokyo Game Show maybe is a bigger streamed event or something. And I think a lot of these companies actually just have Japanese related content that they're working on.
Yeah, it's a bigger show. I think it's gotten bigger over the years, if I'm not mistaken. And these, I guess these corporations want to have more of a presence, in Asia, especially if they're Western. But then also, obviously, especially if they're Asian, they want to that's their home base. Tokyo Game Show is a big event for, I don't know, the weeb games out there, all the JRPGs and anime shit and all that, whatever. So they're going to show more of that. And what do you think that Xbox is going to show, Jaren? I'm sure people want to know. What do you think?
If the Kojima rumor is true, that he is working on a game for Xbox. I would expect it at this show.
Okay, so we're in agreement with that. I think, yeah, if the actual things that Jeff Grubb was talking about with Kojima working with Xbox on some sort of exclusive title, I think that, yeah, that would be announced there. I predicted, which isn't really a huge prediction, but it's kind of obvious, I'd think, but I think you'll see just a slew or a list of games for Game Pass announced that are like JRPGs.
Yeah, headlined by Persona would be my bet.
Okay, so like a deal with Sega, you think?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, and then Jaron, I think, joked to me at one point. He was like, "Yo." Well, I'll let you say it, Jaron. What were you saying? What did you text me?
Oh, yeah,
earlier?
I was fucking around. I was like, yo, this is going to be the place where they announce that they bought Sega and that all those games are coming to Game Pass because that's why, because they bought Sega.
Yeah, so it's a joke, so Jaron's not predicting that. But also, if it happens, Jaron gets all the credit, and you heard it here first at the Xbox. So
yeah, and that's basically all we got to say about that. It's like another event.
you think I would also say, just the last thing I have to say about it is I think it is important for Xbox to be there. Like Phil Spencer has been talking about, or he talked about like right before the Series X launched, how they're building they're trying to build at least a studio in Japan, and they're trying to expand more into that Japanese gaming audience, which is predominantly like Switch handheld and, PlayStation for a home console. But I think it's important for Xbox to be there, and I think it's good, and I hope they have a strong showing and it's not disappointing.
Yeah, I hope so too. Now, this next story kind of got overshadowed by a story that I didn't put in here that I saw later. Bethesda and Microsoft respond to Starfield on PS5 questions, and essentially people on Twitter have been saying things being like, well, actually, Pete Hines said this, because apparently Pete Hines has been going around and doing his Pete Hines thing where he apologizes to PlayStation fans. He said, I don't know if I would go so far as to say you're done ever playing stuff on PlayStation. That's what he said, but everybody takes that immediately as, oh, well, Starfield and Skyrim and that kind of stuff are coming, but that's not what he means. He means that if they make another Quake kind of thing, or if they dip back into their old games and maybe remaster one that isn't like a full remaster, they might put it out on PlayStation, or probably the next Elder Scrolls Online content will come out on PlayStation, or maybe even if they make a full game, it wouldn't really make sense to have an exclusive MMO. That would kind of defeat the point.
Yeah.
So that is more what he's talking about, in my opinion. I don't know if Caleb wants to add any more to that.
Yeah, he said things like, I don't know, people are asking about like Bethesda games, are they on PlayStation? People are real upset. And then he's like, quote, I have no idea how to state this in a way when ... I don't know. I don't know the answer. It doesn't exist. It's not like I know and I just don't want to tell you. I don't know, end quote, Pine said. And so then, yeah, he said it. And then he said later, quote, there are Xbox brands that exist on other platforms. First and foremost, I think that's important to note. Minecraft didn't just stop existing on anything once Mojang got bought by Xbox. It's a massively played game on all of these other platforms. It's not a quote sorry, or it's not a yes quote sorry. You're never going to play anything by Bethesda again. End quote. Certainly, there are going to be things that you're not going to be able to play on PlayStation. And then he says Starfield, and then this is the thing that people get, caught on. I think you were getting to. So yeah, then Pete Hines went on to say that Starfield, quote, Starfield, it was announced as a thing that's an Xbox exclusive, end quote. And then he said, quote, I don't know if I would go so far as to say you're done ever playing stuff on PlayStation. But again, I don't know the answer to that right now, end quote. So obviously he transitioned to talk about Bethesda games in general. But then, Jaron, it got crazier because frickin' Aaron Greenberg, what's his position at Xbox? Do you remember?
He's the head of marketing.
Yeah, head of marketing. So Aaron Greenberg went on and said some shit where he was like, this is simply where the game is being made, referring to Starfield. So someone asked him some nonsense, and I don't know what that means, Jaron. He said, quote, on his Twitter page, we have tried to be as clear as possible. Not a timed exclusive. This is simply where the game is being made, which is still kind of vague.
Yeah, like I feel like it's pretty straightforward.
I agree, but he doesn't say it's not coming to PlayStation ever. Period.
Well, he said it's not a timed exclusive, which means it's a full-time exclusive.
Yeah, it's just weird the way he phrased it, where it's like, I'm trying to be as clear as possible, and then he was clear, but not as clear as possible.
Well, it's because this is actually a response to someone who is responding to him. Essentially, he said that it would be launching exclusively on Xbox. Then this person came and said to him, see, now that you said launching exclusively, in quotes, they will come back saying it will be released later on other platforms. That's what that person responded to him saying, as in like, they're a bunch of idiots. That's what they're going to say. And then he responded to that person with the quote that we just read. We have tried to be as clear as possible, not a timed exclusive. This is simply where the game is being made. So in that context, it does very much shut the door on it coming to PlayStation at any point.
Well, yeah, that's the weird thing. Like, I kind of agree with you, you know? It's just from my perspective with their whole kind of Xbox's whole more, I guess, agnostic kind of be wherever, you know, be a publisher more kind of ethos. When you have certain Bethesda games like Quake that are coming to PlayStation, and then you have certain games that are like exclusive to Xbox and their first part, like the big, you know, Starfield is going to be exclusive to Xbox when it launches. I guess they're like, you know, maybe Starfield could come to PlayStation in 10 years. Like, I wouldn't put that past them, honestly. I don't think that that's necessarily going to happen, you know? I think from his perspective, like right now, he's like pretty sure, he's like, yeah, it's not coming to PlayStation. But I just don't see like in a world where like, yo, maybe Xbox adopts like a PlayStation as a PC approach, but like more so than like PlayStation even does, where it's like, yo, in, I don't know, 5 or 10 years, are we going to say we're not going to put Starfield on PlayStation? It's like, well, maybe not, you know, if it's a true general, like kind of, you know, Last of Us isn't on Xbox right now, so that's fair. But it's like with the way Xbox rolls, you know, maybe in 10 years.
If PlayStation can't measure up on the streaming wars and they start to lose, I could see a version of Game Pass coming to PlayStation. I don't think Starfield will ever be on a platform that doesn't have Game Pass.
Yeah, I see. There you go. That's, I think, what they're saying. I can agree with that. We had that whole interview, I don't know if it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago, where Phil was like, yeah, we want to put this on PlayStation or Nintendo wherever possible. And we've talked to them, and they said no right now. But, you know, so we're working on PC and mobile platforms and stuff. And I guess, you know, smartphones, whatever. And then, yeah, eventually, maybe they're hoping to put it there. And I think Pete Hines is being honest, where he's like, yeah, I don't know. Fuck it. Maybe, who knows? Forever. And I guess they just don't, I don't know, Jaren, if they're just not wanting to be definitive with their statements, just completely definitive, or if they're just like, you know, being definitive in a way that they think is definitive. I don't know.
I think they're trying to handle it like a company who doesn't want to lie to the consumer. So they have no idea if they can't say 100% it'll never come to PlayStation. They're saying there's no such thing as timed exclusivity, and it's not just coming here for a set amount of time. It's exclusive to Game Pass, and the only place we're going to sell it is as a separate thing is on PC and on Xbox. I think they're just leaving the door open if Nintendo and Sony were to agree to have Game Pass, that it would come to them then.
See, yeah, I think that's exactly it, and I think some people may not get that, but I hope that what Jaren just said, that whole statement, summarizes the kind of confusion between Bethesda titles and exclusivity, and that if you look back on this, that's exactly what it is, and so you people don't have to really think about what it means now. That seems to be what they're saying.
And if you thought that caused a clusterfuck, Caleb,
yeah,
well, I got more for you that actually came out after that. The same guy who was talking about what Pete Hines said and that Aaron Greenberg responded to and said those things that we just said, on his tweet where he said Bethesda's Pete Hines suggests the door might be open for possibility of games like Starfield coming to the PS5 in the future. That's what that guy said, which Aaron Greenberg debunked as not true. Then Jeff Grubb also responded to this guy's thing and said no, and also Elder Scrolls 6 is planned as an Xbox exclusive right now as well.
So it's just banger, just out the door. Don't even worry about thinking about it. It's over. It's not coming. Get out of here.
So apparently Jeff Grubb has been talking to people on the inside who, at least in the current scheme of things, have planned for Elder Scrolls 6 to also be an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Just fucking door closed, Jaren. Classified files, all that. Just put them in there.
All right, next up, Rise of the Tomb Raider's Xbox exclusivity was reportedly worth $100 million.
Yeah, so I guess I could take this one real quick. VGC, I think, reported on this. They got the scoop. They saw this man on LinkedIn, his LinkedIn profile. It was a former Square Enix employee. Said that he worked on, I think, securing deals and, you know, publishing agreements and whatnot. And he said that in his now deleted, I think, post from LinkedIn, he said, quote, that he negotiated multiple deals, including the Tomb Raider exclusivity on Xbox worth $100 million. So assuming he's not talking about he negotiated all those deals, including Tomb Raider for $100 million, that the Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider 2015 exclusivity deal with Xbox was $100 million, which frankly is a crazy amount of money for that game. And I think in this article by Pure Xbox, they kind of speculated, like, did that pay off for Xbox? And in the end, they're like, well, Shadow of the Tomb Raider didn't get the same treatment, so probably not, And I just wanted to mention this quick, that was a crazy amount of money for Xbox to spend for that kind of exclusive, but like that was their, especially with no Game Pass at the time, and that was their strategy back then. And it was like, wow, dude, that's a lot of money. And people point out that I think Epic spent $115 million for exclusivity for 6 months for Borderlands 3, but that's Borderlands 3. It's not Rise of the Tomb Raider. So yeah, it's just that was just a different Xbox, man, back then. And I don't think they would do that much money for Rise of the Tomb Raider today.
No, definitely not. I wonder how much they do pay for things like Outriders and that kind of stuff, though. Now that we've seen that they are willing to pay $100 million, do they pay more like what Epic did in those leaked documents that were like 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, or do they pay like a big chunk of change like this sometimes?
That Epic leak, from the lawsuit with those numbers, and then this here, it just kind of gives bigger insight into like how much these fucking I guess platform holders are willing to pay for like exclusivity, and like how these deals work out. And it kind of gives us a range of prices to look at or consider in the future when we're considering other paid exclusives, like Final Fantasy 16, for instance.
It totally makes sense why Square Enix did this, because
that's
probably like the entire game funded.
I don't know if it was mentioned here in the Pure Xbox article, something about that, where they said, quote, some people have been quick to mention it's relatively close to the game's budget, but as mentioned by VGC, it's a similar deal to the Epic thing. So yeah, what you said seems to be accurate, where it was like relatively close to the game's budget, although $100 million is probably not quite it, I would think.
Yeah, but that's also probably why they didn't give a shit about how many units they sold. Like when they said it only sold like 1 million units or something, and it would have sold far more on PlayStation.
Yeah, it sold,
they didn't
I
care.
think Aaron Greenberg said that it shipped 1 million units within its first 2 months, so that's pretty decent numbers.
Yeah, that's good.
Probably not what they wanted, but still decent. Anyway, that's that story kind of wrapped up.
All right. We should hop over to quick news from Double Fine. They are getting some well-earned time off, Caleb.
Yeah, it's just a nice way to round out the doc here. Our boys at Double Fine over on Twitter tweeted, hey, cool folks, heads up that many people in the studio are about to take a 2-week hiatus following the successful launch of Psychonauts 2. And then they will be around, I don't know, doing some tweeting and some supporting staff stuff, like tweeting less, and they're just taking a big break for like a job well done. So there you go.
There you go. Congrats to them. Congrats on the review scores, and you guys definitely deserve a good break.
Yeah, and then they had a typo in like one of their subsequent tweets, like replies to that, and they said, in the third tweet, they said, I'm not fixing the typos. I'm on a semi-break now. Like, fuck it, I'm gone.
And the last news in the X block, Xbox Game Pass for September 2021, at least that we know until Tokyo Game Show, when they probably announced that 7 games drop on that day. But here's all the games that we know about coming and going currently. Let's start off with coming. Arriving September 2nd, Craftopia, Final Fantasy XIII. I don't know what fucking number that is.
It's 8.
There you go.
Wait, no, it's not. It's 13. I'm an idiot too. Don't worry about it. Move on.
Signs of the Sojourner.
You nailed
I don't know
it.
what that is.
A sojourner is one who journeys. It's one who wanders.
Okay. Surgeon Simulator 2 came out. This was all before this podcast was recorded. Surgeon Simulator 2 apparently was a disaster, but they're fixing it.
Yeah, dude, they're performing operations on it. Am I right?
It's co-op, though, so we could play that one day.
I'm scared. No.
Arriving September 7th, something called Clown Trick.
Jaron, dude, I can show you a clown trick real quick.
Sorry, Crown Trick.
That's way worse. That's way worse of a title.
Also arriving September 7th, Breath Edge, Nuclear Thrones, and The Artful Escape. The Artful Escape actually looks cool.
Is it nuclear or nuclear?
Whatever it is.
It's pretty sure it's nuclear, Jaron. George Bush made that mistake. Don't make that same mistake, man.
Xbox Game Pass titles that will be leaving in September. Red Dead Online leaves on September 13th. And leaving on September 15th, Company of Heroes 2, Disgaea 4, Forza Motorsport 7, Hot Shot Racing, The Dark Crystal, and Thornbreaker: The Witcher Tales.
You always hate to see fucking games go, Jaron, especially when it's a Forza game.
Yeah, it's because they have to renew the licensing on the cars, and it's probably not worth paying for it.
Nope, those games, it's a sad thing, but those Forza games, man, you got to get them while they're hot, man. They die, We noticed that. All the DLC's been like delisted for Forza Horizon 1, 2, and 3 at this point, I think. Like, you got to get on those, man. They go away.
Yeah, they really do. And that is the end of the X block, Caleb. Now we're moving on to the X Factor discussion.
Oh, this might be a shorter one this week, but I see it. I want to know what comes to, like, I see what you put here, Jaren, but I want to see what broader discussion you draw from it. So hit me with it.
So Xbox Game Studios' Deathloop is using the PS5's DualSense in creative ways. And I don't give a shit what those creative ways are. My point about talking about this was, if they are putting this much effort into creating a great experience for the DualSense and using it in ways that it hasn't been used before and coming up with all these interesting ways of using the technology, does this mean that these DualSense features will come to Xbox controllers in the future? Is this a sign of features to come?
It's a complicated question, Jaren. So the reason that they could, I'll start real quick. The reason that they could be putting these in there is because Bethesda, obviously the deal was made, what was it, in 2020, right? Microsoft's purchase of Bethesda. So this game had been in development before then. They could have been already planning to and develop the game around and working toward like making DualSense features in this game. I don't actually know, everything about their development. I'm just speculating here from kind of my general knowledge. So they were probably planning to put these in as they were developing it when that deal was made prior to Xbox's acquisition of Bethesda. So they could just be doing it kind of just because, I don't know, they want to, they were already going to, they had some work done, it's made that way where it's easier and they kind of plan to do it. And it's going to be exclusive for a year, so why not get the most out of it, make some money, and sell some shit? That's possible. Also, though, maybe they're just still doing it because they have some sort of notion or idea that these can be then translated to any type of Xbox, I don't know, Elite Series 3 or any type of Xbox DualSense S controller in the future, and that's possible. But regardless, I think that if they're doing it intentionally or not, these features that are used, that the DualSense controller uses, like I think they mentioned in the article, I don't know, like your triggers give, feedback with certain weapons and resistance and things. And like when your gun jams, you like feel a jam in your controller. And when you're walking on snow, you feel certain vibrations versus different types of, ground. And so all that shit, I think that when Xbox and Jared and I think inevitably launch their DualSense-like controller, you'll be able to use these features when it comes to Xbox. And this is a year exclusive. So yeah, PC and PS5 on September 14th. And so, yeah, this comes out on Xbox, we assume next September. Possibly by then we'll have a new controller. If not, yeah, I think you're right. I think these features will eventually be usable on whatever peripheral Xbox launches to compete with the DualSense. Assuming that you and I assume that they will do that. And I think it's inevitable at this point,
Yeah, I'd agree with you.
Yeah, so I guess we're just in a staunch agreement here. And I think that, like you and I have mentioned before, but the DualSense, dude, that's just like a PlayStation, innovative technology. Or just something PlayStation did where it's actually a good idea, I guess, for Xbox to copy it. Because like 99% of the time, it's the other way around. And in this case, you're like, you know what? Those PlayStation people, they got something kind of cool over there. But the most important thing, Jaren, is this shit may get annoying to me. And it has gotten annoying, I've heard from people on PlayStation sometimes. And like messing, like getting your finger even gets tired, which is bizarre. But from, the feedback and all that shit and the resistance. But there is a toggle that they say to turn all this shit off if you want. So that's cool.
Yeah, thankfully.
Yeah, if there was no toggle, I would want to probably kill myself. I'd rather probably not have it at that point.
Oh, yeah, for sure. If there wasn't a toggle, I would definitely have no interest in having this as an option.
Yeah, so quick, do you have any other features on PlayStation or PlayStation 5 that you want to see on Xbox? Or is that about just the DualSense kind of?
Yeah, pretty much just some of the DualSense features, and I just feel like it'd be a cool thing to have, but I don't even know if I would use it every single time.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't either. It'd be on like a case-by-case basis, or maybe even like halfway through the game, and then like I said, I'd be like, I'm done with this, and then I'd turn it off. And I think platinum trophies, from my own answer my own question.
Yes, that's true.
I think platinum trophies were a good innovation on achievements, where they could potentially have some equivalent on Xbox. And we're still waiting. Dude, I've heard from people in the know, Jaren, like an Xbox ambassador person or admin or whatever the fuck. Apparently the people who run achievements over there are just asleep at the wheel. And they're like people who like the way achievements are now and don't want to change them. That's what I've heard. If any Xbox achievement staff are listening to this, fucking work on some stuff, all right? Like, do your jobs. Or create jobs and then do them. Am I right, Jaren?
Oh yeah, dude, I'd love to see some innovations to the achievement system for sure.
Best thing that's happened with achievements in recent memory, besides adding a rare achievement, not like the rare achievement thing, is having gamer score quests that give you real world money from rewards points.
Oh yeah, the 10,000 points. I specifically have games that I don't play just installed on my console just in case those pop up so that I can snag $10.
Just in case you want to make some cash.
Yeah, just in case I want to make some bank.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I guess to be fair, no features are related to achievements or trophies this PlayStation have that's better than my ability to earn fucking money. So
there you go. And now, Caleb, since it is the first episode of September,
whoop,
we will be spinning the wheel for Game Pass or Gameplay. And if you're sitting there going, Jaren, what the hell's Game Pass or Gameplay? This is my first episode. Well, I'm going to tell you. Every month, we spin a wheel of Game Pass games, and it picks one for us. And then we play that game, and we review it for you on the last week, or the last episode of the month. And last month's game was Steep. So now, we're going to spin the wheel and find out what this month's game is.
I'm glad you explained it, man, because I had no idea what it was.
Spin that wheel.
Spin that wheel.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
All right, Caleb, we've got kind of an in-depth one that might actually require us to play a bit of it.
I mean, yay.
The Surge 2.
Oh, The Surge. Looky there, Jaren. You and I, years ago, perhaps? I hate that I've known you that long. We mentioned playing The Surge at some point when it was supposed to, coming out at some point.
Yeah, so this is number 2. I believe it's a Dark Souls-like game.
Maybe you're wrong, maybe you're right. We're going to find out. Our last iteration, we gave Steep a play, right? We kind of wavered on it.
We gave Steep a play.
Yeah, and then we were like, just go try it out. So that was our last game. Yeah, and if you want to hear us talk about, what do we have, Jaren? Donut County.
That was first.
Yeah, Train Simulator World. Train Sim World. Yeah. I don't know if that's still an Xbox or Game Pass anymore. One of them may not be. And then what else have we done? Psychonauts?
Spirit Fair.
Yeah, Spirit Fair.
Psychonauts.
A bunch of... Dude,
Dirt.
Go listen. Dirt 5. Go listen to all those other episodes. Go find them. Go scrounge around for them and listen to whether you should play or pass on those games in Game Pass. Hopefully all of those are still in Game Pass. I think one of them may not be, but... I think it's, I don't know, Train Sim maybe, something. I don't know. Fuck it.
That's crazy that we played that many games.
It is kind of actually crazy. And now we have another one, Surge 2. Get hype, boys. At the end of September, better come back and mosey on over to hear what we have to say about Surge 2. Most hotly anticipated game of 2021.
And now we are moving on to the FAF.
Whoa.
Now, if you're like, what's the FAF?
That's me.
The FAF is an interesting place. It's a place where you go to get all the news that when you see it scrolling by on your Twitter feed, you go, I kind of want to know what that is, but I don't want to click on it. Now you don't have to give them that ad revenue.
I never wanted to.
And not give me ad revenue.
Yeah, and that's even better than not giving the corporations ad revenue. And also, Jaren doesn't tell me what they are ahead of time. So I also don't give them ad revenue. Jaren does for you, and then shares the information like a prophet. So the first fucking piece of the FAF here is just micro FAF.
I just want to give a shout out to this story that I saw pop up on Kotaku.
What?
17 years ago, in 2004, there was a Halo 2 condom made to market Halo 2.
See, I'm the guy that they wrote that for, ironically. But it would be Kotaku who wrote that article. It would be.
So there you go. If you want to have a child for sure, go get yourself this Halo 2 condom and try it out.
Your childs are gross, man. You got to change them and feed them, dude. Walk them around. You got to get a collar for them. It's a lot of work.
All right, hit me with the next one, Caleb.
Some platforms value $10 different.
Yep. For $10 on Xbox, you get access to hundreds of video games.
Whoa, yeah.
You can play as many to your heart's content. On PlayStation, you pay $10 more if you want the PS5 version of Horizon Forbidden West, and $20 more if you want both versions of Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah, this is dumb news down here, but this was a story I saw VGC report it. Horizon Forbidden West, dude, if you want to play both versions, yeah, you got to buy like the $80, or was it, is it more than that to buy?
$80 or $200.
Oof, so you got to buy one of those to have access to the PS4 and PS5 version. If you just buy the standard version for PS4, you're going to have to buy it again if you get a PS5, boy. And this flies in the face of what Andy Robinson, editor-in-chief at VGC, said, or reported that they said, which is that last year, Jim Ryan said that they would have a free upgrade path for PS4 to PS5. For Horizon Forbidden West. And so you can go check out his Twitter for that if you want. But yeah, Jim Ryan lied to you. Can you imagine?
Well, I've got some good news for you.
I doubt it.
If you're sitting there and you're going, man, I really wanted to play this on PS5. Should I buy the double version even though I just have a PS4? No, because there's another year on that chip shortage, so you won't be getting your PS5 any time soon. So you might as well just play it on your PS4 and save yourself the money.
Yeah, rip in peace, man. Never forget, Horizon Forbidden West free upgrade path. That's not happening.
All right, Caleb, hit me with the next one.
Legal fees versus employees.
All right. Cyberpunk developer has hired some modders who modded the game to work for them. Take-Two is suing the creators of a GTA 3 and Vice City reverse engineering project.
Different strokes for different folks. I just want to throw out there, man, if I'm not a developer, I'm not a publisher, I'm not a studio, but it just seems like a good idea to hire really good modders who mod your game. It just seems smart.
It does. They're already familiar with your engine.
Yeah, sometimes they're better at making your game than you are. So
it's literally a resume.
It is a resume, except that one guy who fixed that one loading issue in GTA 5. You remember that? And instead of hiring him, they just gave him $5,000 or $10,000 or some nonsense.
Yeah, they gave him $10,000, but at least they didn't sue him.
They didn't sue him. That's true. They gave him a pat on the back. And he's like, but I fixed your game. And they're like, that's cool, bud. All right, see ya.
All right, Caleb. Now, the last one, Quick Quips, which you already blew one of the stories, so there's only one story.
Damn, man. What did I blow again? Tell me who or what I blew. Ooh.
Cyberpunk's developer can't guarantee next-gen versions will make it out this year.
What was your quick quip for that one, Jaron? Did you have one? Was it a good one? Was it a zinger?
No, I was just going to be silent for a second and then say, hey, you know how long that silence was for you? That's how long you'll be waiting for this game.
Yeah, forever. Forever and a day. I want to play The Witcher 3 Enhanced so bad, but the CD Projekt Red does not want me to.
And the last quick quip, a retailer glitch allows customers to buy Switch Lite consoles for free.
Retailer, I hardly know her.
There you go. That was Caleb's quick quip. And the last thing I want to add to this show that we didn't talk about, there was a big deep dive on the Dead Space remake and Marvel's Midnight Suns and how the combat works in that game. If you would like to check either of those out and you haven't seen them yet, I would recommend going over to YouTube because they're both pretty cool to watch, but us telling you about them wouldn't really convey all the cool stuff that they showed.
Yeah, you and I talk about so much other cool stuff, Jaron.
And that is all for the X Block Podcast, episode 25. If you would like to listen to this podcast somewhere else than you're listening to it right now, you can head over to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Overcast, anything that Anchor supports. Or if you're more of a YouTube podcast guy or girl, you can head over to YouTube and check us out there at the X Block Podcast. And if you would want to follow us outside of our podcast, you can head over to Twitter at X Block Podcast. You can head over to Instagram at X Block Podcast. You can head over to Twitch, _X Block. And here's Caleb to tell you about our Patreon.
Patreon.com/X Block Podcast. Go there. Throw us a few smackaroons, aka American dollars. And then we can use some of that money to buy me a new mic and upgrade our equipment a bit. I do have to get a new PC at some point here soon. Mine's kind of chugging a bit. So yeah, I mean, this all goes to making the podcast better, run better, so my computer doesn't crash mid-stream, or mid-recording rather, and my microphone, sounds better for the audience. That's just a benefit for you. So yeah, you can go to patreon.com/X Block Podcast and throw us some dollars, whatever you prefer. Please do, and we will use it to your liking.
There you go. Thanks for listening, and make sure that you tell your friends about this podcast. Turn to your friend, especially with school coming back now. When you're sitting there in your classroom after you've listened to this podcast, I want you to turn to the person on your left and whisper in their ear, "Have you heard of the X Block?" And if they say no, tell them to listen to it. And then I want you to turn to the person on your left, and I want you to spank them. X Block out. Thanks for listening to the X Block. New episodes every Monday at 5 a.m.
Daddy made you your favorite, open wide.